It's been a minute, peeps. Took a bit of a hiatus over the holiday season, but I had shot a fair bit of footage prior, and who am I to waste video? Speaking of the holiday season, I do hope you had a rad one. It's a new year. It's March now. And I'm still committed to and excited about taking a gander at the various watches in my collection with you. Today, we've got a snazzy little piece. One that I wore on Christmas Day 3 months ago. Oh, sorry about that. Timex's Marlin hand-wound Snoopy watch. And what a wee delight it is. This was an impulse purchase through and through, since I believe it was on discount when I snagged it. And I was like, I'm not above the cuteness. Don't ever feel like you're above the cuteness, y'all. It's easy to start getting snooty with watches and collecting, and I'm not immune to it, but go ahead and have a little fun when you can. And this piece is quite fun. Timex has really been ramping up lately with their releases. Not sure if you've noticed, I definitely feel like it's been a trend, especially in the mechanical space over the last several years, and with their brand partnerships. This one's a little bit of both. Peanuts-based watches have been a thing for decades, so, nothing new there, but it's a nice lineage, the kitsch lineage. It's a storied lineage. However, this is a 2022 release, so a pretty recent one. Let's put on our spectacles. You see what I did there, y'all? You see that? And we'll see what we got. This piece is classical Marlin, vintage sized at 34 millimeters for the case, 41.3 millimeters lug to lug, 10.3 millimeters thickness, and with a lug width of 18 millimeters. It's truly a diminutive watch for a lot of folks these days, I'll acknowledge that. But as a lover of vintage styling and aesthetics, and an owner of way too many swatches, I'm here for it, and maybe you are too. Real talk, you've probably noticed a through line in my reviews, that I've become more conservative in many ways with regard to my watch buying and my aesthetic preferences. Subtlety has been the name of the game for me lately, for sure. And while it might seem to go against that grain, seeing as this watch does blatantly have a cartoon on the dial, it is the subtlety that won me over and drew me to this piece in particular. And that comes through with a few different choices here. Number one, the choice to use the Marlin as a base to start with. And we've already seen how these are pretty refined dimensions. Number two, the color, which is almost like a muted teal color versus a more garish shade of green that you might have expected from a holiday watch like this. And then number three, the simple Arabic numerals and pencil hands, just nice and easy there. And number four, the final note, Snoopy and Woodstock just, keeping it low key, having a sweet little moment there, nestled cozily between 3 and 5 o'clock, not too ostentatious. There are bigger and bolder choices, even if you want something this specific. You can get holiday Peanuts watches at 40 millimeters with more going on, and that seems to be more the rule, with this piece being the exception. If you love the Peanuts, I do, and you jive with more old school watches, I also do, this piece will probably speak to you, and I do recommend it. The value is there. It was not an expensive watch, even if the movement, which I haven't really mentioned and I'm not making a big to-do about, isn't the best one. It isn't the best in the world. Various sources claim that it's a Chinese Seagull ST6 movement with the automatic winding mechanism removed. That's probably the case. I've seen some pictures. I haven't really taken mine apart to double check, but it seems likely. It's not anything to boast about, and that's probably why Timex doesn't really call it out themselves on their site. Mine, I tested it just the other day here, and it was running about 23 seconds a day over fast. So that's not super great, to be honest. But your mileage may vary. Plus, I think it might still be worth it. Considering this isn't a watch you're going to be wearing every day, probably. Most likely it's going to be more of an occasional piece. And who's missing 23 seconds on Christmas Day? Not me. So that's that. Feeling a mite rusty after the hiatus, I have to admit, but excited for the new year and to share and review more watches with you. I promise, barring a monster attack, to up the frequency of these reviews a bit, as I'm having too much fun to stop. Hope you're having a rad day wherever you are. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to spend with me. See you next time.